just like with Ira, we're gonna need someone to lure Jamuka out before we can talk to him. Ira is a pretty good candidate for this because, well, firstly, those regular enemies with him don't pose any threat to her at all, and secondly, because she has Nihil, which means that he can't critical her. Yeah, the Nihil skill prevents criticals in this game as well. And speaking of criticals, you might be wondering why we're at any risk because Jamuka doesn't have the critical skill. Well, using a killer weapon makes you count as if you had the critical skill, essentially. Although to my knowledge, the killer bow is the only one in the game. Although there is a legendary weapon with a killer effect, but we won't be seeing that for a couple of chapters. Now we get to see Astra in use. It's basically instant death to any enemy, except for some very powerful bosses with high defense on castles. Oh, they're getting in the way of Jamuka. Yeah, I apologise, this part really isn't that interesting. Just need to lure Jamuka a bit. And after that, things are going to get quite a bit annoying. Because as I said before, lowered movement plus very narrow path you have to go through equals not good. Oh, that wasn't the best. But she's leveled up so much in this chapter, it'd be kind of expected for that to happen sooner or later. Yeah, get Edain as close as possible. Just taking precautions, I'm not sure if he attacks her or not. I'm pretty sure he doesn't, but just in case. I'm going to have Alec hang back because he got a little too much experience last time. Seems though that my theory about the AI not attacking characters who they have no chance of hitting kind of being proven wrong here, because these guys are attacking Ira despite a 0% chance of hitting, and looks like they've cleared way for Jamuka. Oh, that was a little closer than I would have wanted it. Far too close, in fact. Yeah, now we need to get her out of there and heal. Something I might want to mention, you might have noticed a different battle theme played when Jamuka and Ira were attacking us. Well, this is quite interesting, and I don't think any other game in this series does this. This game has, you know, the regular enemy theme. Just talking to him now. So anyway, it has the regular enemy theme, the boss theme, powerful boss theme, but it also has, unlike any of the other games, a recruitable enemy battle theme. So if you have any doubts whether you can get someone to join you or not, just save and attack them, and if that theme plays, then they definitely will join you. So yeah, we've now got Jamuka, and so we actually do get a person from Verdun to join us. But now Jamuka's a bit interesting because he's an archer who upgrades to sniper, but he's very strange in terms of his stats compared to what you'd expect from an archer, because, well, he starts off with, you know, typical archer-like stats, alright strength and good skill and speed. But his growth rates, essentially, he has massive strength growth and decent speed growth, but terrible skill. Which means that he'll be hitting very powerfully, but as you go through the game, his accuracy will start to get worse and worse. Kind of strange for an archer to do that, but thankfully that killer bow has a very high accuracy rate, which helps compensate for that somewhat. So essentially, even though right now he's starting to seem much, much better than Midale, you'll want to be careful because his accuracy is going to really lag behind later on. Also, a bit of random trivia. According to the designer's notes, Jamuka was originally planned to be an axe user. It seems like they changed his class but didn't change his growth rates. Because, yeah, his growths really are more characteristic of an axe user than a bow user. Also, as is slightly hinted at by the story, Jamuka is also another one of Edain's easiest pairings. In fact, he starts off with a massive 250 love points towards her, but doesn't get any special conversations like Midale does. Most people tend to prefer Midale because he gives the children pursuits, but Jamuka's alright too. Jamuka tends to give better stats, but no pursuit. So if that's your thing, then go with that, but I'd recommend giving him a pursuit ring to pass on to the children. And speaking of children inheritance and the like, something I forgot to mention before, and now would be the perfect time to do so. If, for some reason, you don't pair one of the female characters, or if the female dies, then you won't get their children in the second generation, and instead you'll get substitute characters. Now, the substitute characters are fixed. So yeah, they have fixed stats and growth rates, and generally, well, in virtually all cases, they're massively inferior to the children, so be sure to pair everyone. Because in, yeah, virtually all cases, the children will be much, much better than the substitutes. Particularly, at the moment, Ira, there is literally no way possible for Ira's children to be worse than her substitutes. Even Ira's worst possible pairings will make her children better than the substitutes. That's just... well, not really... it's not that the substitutes are bad, it's just that Ira's so good. Edain's substitutes are, yeah, again, mostly inferior to her regular children. There's only one character whose substitutes might actually be better in some cases, but she'll be joining in Chapter 2, and I'll talk about that more then. So sometimes people like to, if they accidentally make a bad pairing, simply kill off the female if the substitutes would be better, but again, I keep stressing this because it's mostly true. Make sure you make pairings because in almost all cases, the substitutes are inferior to the regular children. So that's enough of that. Now to this really annoying section where my army bottlenecks itself between these two forests. Thankfully there's only 3 enemies left, but it's going to take us a while to get out of here. Of course, you'll want Lex to try and go out first because, well, there's a special event you need for him. Just using Kuan to bait and weaken these guys. He's good for that because he doesn't double attack. Unless he activates continue. Also, make sure Sigurd doesn't go through the forest until all the enemies are gone. You'll find out why in the next part.